This will be my sharing on paper 5. Well, I'll be sharing on these 4 areas. Firstly, the Micreen criteria. Then I'll go on to the design part and some advice on the drawing conclusions as well as the statistics. Well, when Vilas had his sharing, he also mentioned how the paper 3 will be set according to the allocation of marks. So this will also apply on paper 5. So these are generally the areas and the marks allocated for each area or section. The general comments on paper 5 is that marking is going to be stricter than paper 3. And what was mentioned also is that the difference between paper 3 and paper 5 is that, well, in paper 3, students are only expected to follow instructions and also showing the skills how they can handle scientific apparatus based on the instructions given. Whereas in paper 5, students are expected to know like in and out how to use these apparatus, when they can use them, how to apply using them, all right, in whatever situations that is given to them. So it is going to be entirely skill-based, all right. Christy mentioned that this paper is going to be very skill-based, so students are really expected to, they are expected to know how they can apply each skills on using certain apparatuses. This is a excerpt I took from the 2014 syllabus. All right, and as we can see here, the advice given here is that we really got to let students work on their labs, and we need to give them ample time and for them to develop the skills necessary to answer this paper. I think the expectation here is that students they need to provide a full account on the use of scientific apparatus when they write their methods. But Christine did mention that when she conduct marking, she basically will read through the entire method first and to sort of indicate what kind of grade that the student falls in. And then she will go from point to point and allocate the marks. And when the marks are given, she will read through again, check the quality of the work, whether the marks given is worth or not. This is also taken from the 2014 syllabus. You can actually refer to it, page 54 of the 2014 syllabus. I will not elaborate much on this part, okay? You can read yourself lah. This is the marking exercise we did in the classroom. Well, not much time was spent here. Basically, what we did was we were given time to go through the paper and to mark on ourselves first, and then Christine took over by explaining a few things. So these are the things that I managed to capture lah. Alright, these are the paper. The paper is taken, this question is taken from November 2011, paper 53, question 1, part D. Alright, I hope when you get the PowerPoint slide, you can put it into full screen, then you'll be able to see the whole answer script well. Alright, but some of the things that was mentioned is that there's expectation on when a certain variable is mentioned and when there's a need to state a specific quantity, that should be written. All right. Let's take a look at in the marking scheme. Point 2 refers to this using the same quantity of each leaf extract that is used here. All right, and let's take a look at the marking is given, directly on the quantity that is written there. So I believe there's a huge weight on specifying quantity to the variables here. Mark is also given based on the appropriate apparatus used. Okay, in the marking scheme, point number 7, okay, says here refer, all right, with reference to a method of applying the sample, and the marking is given, all right, once the word pipette there is used. All right, so students cannot write in general terms without qualifying the right apparatus that should be used. All right, then they won't get the mark. So if they get the mark, they will get the mark if they mention these things. So from this part here, the quantity, specific quantity must be written. So instead of saying place the same quantity of leaf extract used, I don't think that will deserve a mark. So with reference to specific quantity and the appropriate apparatus used. There's another thing that she mentioned, Christine mentioned, was also that in reference to carrying out repetitions, all right, first we must advise our students that when they write about repeating the experiment, they must refer to why that is being carried out. Okay, for example, most of the time, okay, the same experiment is repeated a few times so that we can calculate the mean. Right, it's another way of how we can make the experiment reliable or more reliable. Okay, but not all experiment work that way. Not all experiment can go away with getting the mean, or it may not sound logical repeating the experiment just to get the mean. Okay, in this example, in this experiment involving chromatography, repeating the experiment does not intend to find the mean, but rather to look for anomalies between the results. So Christine said that there's no point looking for mean here because there's no it is not quite appropriate here in this case. But with the patterns that we can find in the chromatogram, okay, repeating the experiment would intends on finding anomalies. So we can see here that no marks is given. All right, simply because no reference to the mean given, I believe. All right. On the safety issues, all right, though many procedures or experiment may have little risk attached, okay, but not all. So students must know well when to write this is a low risk or when to identify that a risk is involved. Okay. The nature of the hazard must be specified and a suitable precaution must be linked to. All right. Of course, in this case, no mark is given because of the low risk stated there, which is not true. All right, but we should advise our students to write to state what is the risk and also to suggest what precautions that they can take. So in summary, or some other comments that Christine made, or what she stressed on, that methods must be written to show the skills acquired in the lab, right? That's number one. She also stressed on the appropriate usage of the apparatus. She stressed that it is important. So not everything that student writes, they can go away with it. All right. There's one example that she referred to. Okay, she said that it is saddening to see some students wrote about dispensing a 250 centimeter cube solution into a test tube. All right, she mentioned that that's not appropriate lah for students at this level. So what is written must be both logical and appropriate. On the control variable, some of the extra things she said, definitely she reject temperature controlled room that is quite general. Aircon room, definitely she rejects. All right, on the basis that temperature can never be constant, in an aircon room. All right, she said greenhouse can be accepted. All right, so we can emphasize that to our students. All right, and on any methods to control in an attempt to standardize or to control a variable, all right, the technique must be suitable. All right, the technique must be suitable. For example, she definitely rejects if student writes using thermostatically controlled water bath to maintain the temperature of bacteria growing on petri dishes. That is definitely rejected. All right, so in this case, we have to advise our students with caution. With regards to the control, all right, Christine did mention that if there is information about the control provided, all right, student must always relate the use of this control in their methods. All right, so that is important. Some of the things that I find in the 2014 syllabus but was not found in the 2013 syllabus is that that students expected or rather they should be able to describe about serial and proportional dilutions. All right, so maybe we can emphasize that to them. All right, things that they have learned already in AS. Okay, and with regards to reliability and validity in their methods, all right, in this section it is said that it is added, right, that students may use standard deviation, standard error, right, or 95% confidence limit. Okay, as to make as a standard as a standard test to improve the reliability. Conclusions are drawn based spotting patterns and trends, and also include the reason for the pattern and the trends that they have described. So conclusion involves both, as what Christine said. Alright, in addition to the 2014 syllabus, in view of the statistics, I think we need to again remind our students and emphasize to them the definitions of this type of data. Alright, this was added to the syllabus. I raised the question on the standard error to Christine, and this question was emailed by Lina just before the training. So I emailed this question back to Christine so that I can get her reply in writing lah. Alright, okay. So the issue was that why in this November 10 paper, alright, why the error bar was given as SM values. Alright, so I think the issue here or the question here is that should we apply this 2 times standard of error, because usually we teach our students that, alright, we always teach our students to use 2 times standard of error. So the question here is that do we need 2 times standard of error or not, or at the same time why standard deviation is also accepted, and this was her reply. If you read the reply, it seems to me that she didn't really commit to which is the right way, or explain in detail. She just said that both is accepted. Alright, it's just that if we use standard deviation, it must be 2 times standard of deviation. It seems that there is a leeway on the standard of error, so it can be 1 times, or it can be also be 2 times standard of error. What's your opinion? I'm not sure also why she said that standard of error is inconsistent. Alright, so maybe we need to figure that out. Lastly, Christine also mentioned about writing conclusions to a chi-square or t-test calculation. She mentioned that mark is given first to correct calculation, and then they will consider the conclusion, and the conclusion is marked based on what answer they give. So there's some sense of ECF here given. All right, conclusion is marked based on what answer they give. For example, if they've used an incorrect t-value, all right, so the conclusion will be marked based on the incorrect t-value that is given. All right, may not necessarily be what in the marking scheme. I think that is basically what we discussed in this statistic part. All right, and that concludes my sharing. Thank you.